Today we are reacting to and breaking down Shut Down by Blackpink. Very much looking forward to checking this out because this is the first time that I'm hearing this song. Let me know in the comments below what you like about this song the most, what stood out to you the most. Today's video is sponsored by Soundcheck Blend Coffee, which is in fact my own personal coffee blend. If you drink coffee or enjoy coffee, definitely consider checking it out. Link down below. It is great to try just in general, any time of the year. Also great as a holiday gift. Link down below. Soundcheck Blend, my own personal coffee blend. Let's get right into this Blackpink Shut Down.
Blackpink in your area.
Crazy.
Blackpink in your area.
Alright, before we get into even the verse, let's talk about this. A ton of things going on. Serious stereo layered vocals. We have several vocals layered panned left and right. Actually pretty far outside of the main center of the stereo spectrum, in the sense of like the main thing right down the center is that main, I want to say violin riff or string riff, whether it be a violin, viola, regardless. That main string riff, single string riff, is right down the center. And then we have layered vocals panned slightly left and right to kind of leave room for that single string riff. And then we have these more subtle strings going on on the sides, left and right, in addition to some percussion. Let's go back and hear that again.
Blackpink in your area.
So we have percussion going on, which is also kind of in the center. We have this 808 like kind of synth bass, which, by the way, again, talking about 808, 808 bass is actually technically derived from a drum machine that came out in the 80s by Roland. I believe it was called the Roland TR-808, and it was actually a drum machine, but the way that you could use it is the kick drum sound. If you essentially extended the release of the sound, it had this really cool long bassy sound, and that's where the 808 sound came from. Let's go, keep going. Hear the strings on the sides, left and right? Wow, so let's talk about this before we even keep going further. So we had that Blackpink in your area intro. You hear the stereo vocals left and right, and then now you have layered vocals again, but they're layered right down the center of the mix. You can hear that just the way that the phrasing is and the fullness of the sound. It's layered vocals right down the center, which is cool because like it's still layers of vocals, kind of giving this full sound of vocals, while also it being like just difference in the panning essentially of the sound. So we have very full stereo spectrum to kind of right down the center of the stereo spectrum, which is cool. I also love how super heavy forward that bass is. It's really forward in the mix, but it's not overwhelming. You can still hear the vocals, you can still hear the drums, but the bass is super forward, but it's not taking away from anything, which is the sign of a really, really good mix. Because sometimes you can put the bass too forward, and it takes away from everything else. Continuing with the strings. Yeah! Do you hear that rhythm? Like the staccato. I want to say the 16th note. A faster string moving too. Synth sound. That's cool. So listen to that. So now we have the introduction of a synthesizer that kind of resembles almost something similar to a string. So it's kind of keeping that similar string sound while also kind of changing the timbre of instruments a little, so you don't get too used to hearing a string sound. Listen to this a little farther down. And now we just switch back to strings. So it's kind of this cool, similar timbred instrument, but also kind of keeping you engaged as a listener without boring you with the same instrument the whole time. This is pretty sick in the sense of like it's a cool contrast in rhythm, in the sense of like the chordal structure in the background is actually pretty slow and steady, in the sense of like there's not a ton going on with the strings in the background, which is creating most of the chords. It's actually pretty sparse, but what's really driving is the vocals. This faster faster vocal rhythm is driving the song along, while the actual chords in it are actually pretty more slower and steady. Additionally, you have that string right in the center, which is also pretty fast rhythm, which is also driving it pretty quickly, which is it's very cool. I like this. This is catchy. Heavy bass, man. Talk about this in a sec. So listen to this now. So you hear how it's shifted down the octave? That same exact string riff we've been hearing a lot right down the center, shifted down the octave, creating the same exact riff, just now almost like almost like self low pass filtered. A low pass filter is exactly what it sounds like. You filter out, meaning you take only you filter something essentially, like when you filter something, you're taking things in or out, essentially out, right? You're filtering your water, you're taking the imperfections out while still allowing certain things to go through, which is the good water. When you filter an instrument, you're taking certain frequencies out. In this sense, you're taking when you say a low pass filter, you're letting the lows pass through the filter, but the high frequencies get rolled off. Opposite being a high pass filter, where you let the high frequencies pass through and the low frequencies get rolled off, you don't hear them. Here, by shifting down the octave, it almost creates this low pass filter because the high frequencies are no longer there, even though they wouldn't be there in the first place because you're going down the octave. But it's just a really cool way to create that sort of low pass filter without actually going down the octave. I mean, without actually putting a filter on it, because you go down the octave. Faster rhythm on the strings. Strings are slower now. You hear the vocals going back and forth? Heavy bass, man. Yeah. Yeah, come on. I feel like in a lot of pop music we've kind of lost instrumentals in the sense of like it just has to be vocal, 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 vocal. It has to be catchy, 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 vocal, 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 right? But this is a pretty short song. It's 2 minutes and 55 seconds. So I like the fact that they still left a little bit of room of instrumental. It kind of just created this like almost like a semi-bridge. Like that was the bridge, or we even going into like an outro bridge right here. But I really like that. It just left a little bit of a breather room. Because otherwise they could have ended, and a lot of pop would have ended just right with that last chorus right there. But I like the fact that they kind of left a little bit more room. You kind of got to hear a little more within the soundscape of the song, and then you kind of either reprise with something different, or go back to the chorus, or an alternate B-side chorus. This is cool. Also, he listened to that like shifted up octave 808 bass, the doo-doo-doo. Going up. That's cool. Dude, that's killer, man. That's really, I really enjoyed that. Just production all around, the vibe of it, and the sense of the contrast and the strings, the slow strings, fast music, fast going vocals. This was really, really cool, really well produced. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know what you think about your favorite part down below. And then also remember today's sponsor, Soundcheck Blend Coffee, my own personal coffee brand. If you would like to try it or gift it to somebody this holiday season, click the link down below. God bless and peace out.